Good day, Doctor. I am Jongjayi. Number matrix 293418. My topic is analysis Sandabi Berhad in Malaysia. Sandabi Berhad is an automotive company in Pacific with 1,910 years. This company is also one of Malaysia's major and eldest company. Now, turn to the research objective. First is promote Sandabi Berhad integrity, transparency, accountability, and responsiveness. 2 is to ensure the adequate check and balance are in place within Sandabi Berhad. 3 is to instill ethical corporate behavior in employees through the code of corporate conduct. Now pass to the research question. Research question have 3. First is, does the performance for Sandabi Berhad have any correlation with its external factor? Second is, how does the performance for Sandabi Berhad relate to the outside factor? 3 is, how does the performance for Sandabi Berhad relate to external and internal factor? Now focus to the literal variables. It compares two components, internal and external factor, mainly focusing on the context of corporate governance, performance, liquidity risk, credit risk, operation risk, and the market risk. Credit risk as the main topic. The credit risk have average collection period and debt to income. I use the net sales divided by account receivable. By the way, the debt to income is total liability divided by the net income. When I analyze the Sandabi Berhad annual report, I find the average collection period and the debt to income percentage is very higher. This means a higher collection period indicates companies are collecting payment at a slower rate. This is not necessarily reflected for the company action, but a high collection period could mean companies are taking their time to pay their bill. And turn to the debt to income. It shows how much for your average income is already need to pay off debt. Mention the automotive company minus liability, and the higher debt to income, higher rely on debt financing, can affect equity value in the situation of default. In the company profitability, we have the independent variable and the dependent variable. Dependent variable, I use the ROE, and the independent variable have the external factor, and the internal and external factor. I use the SPL run 3 times. So independent factor is the return on asset, current ratio, operation ratio, operating margin, and debt to income, average collection period. And the external variable is the gross domestic product, unemployment, inflation rates, adjustment rates, and the industry production rate, interest rate, and the CG index. And the internal and external factor is 2 combined. The Sandabi Berhad annual report data spanning from 2018 year until to the 2022 year is the 5 year was selected in order to examine the correlation between the company performance and each factor. Thus, internal, external, and external factor will be the independent variable, and the ROE will be the dependent variable. So, we have used SPSS Region 27. I developed the data presented based on the 5 samples of data analysis when the Sandabi Berhad annual report from the 2018 year to 2022 year provided the financial report and aggregate data. The ROE of the company is 0.0859 and the standard deviation is 0.0331 and the ROA is 0.49. Indicated a yearly profit of around 15% and the standard deviation is 0.0203 and the current ratio mean under the liquidity risk is 1.556 and the standard deviation is 0.0487. The average collection period under the credit risk is 8.9805 and the standard deviation is 1.020. The average debt to income ratio is 9.6899 and the standard deviation is 3.365. The operation ratio under the operation risk is 0.97677. There's the contract. The standard deviation is 0.0056. The operation margin is 0.0412 and the standard deviation is 0.0058. The microeconomic inflation rate is 1.7080 and the standard deviation is 1.1724. Suggests the considerable annual volatility. So the mean interest rate is 3.6460. Standard deviation is 1.33578. After that, the average charges rate is 4.184 and the standard deviation is 0.133. The unemployment rate is 3.7760 and the standard deviation is 0.5371. The corporate governance index rate has the variance of 0.8154. The non-financial production of the company amounts to the 82%. In contrast, the standard deviation is the 0.042. Relationship with ROE. The p-value of operative value is 0.04, less than 0.05. Then from the relationship between the operative ratio and ROE is moderately significant. For other variables, they are not significantly correlated to ROE. modal summary. Modal summary for internal and external variable show two external factors, which industry production rates and GDP growth, and one internal factor, which ROA. For the R square, we note that 100% for the variance in ROE can be produced for those independent variable. In addition, the adjusted R square in this study is 1, which means the produced variance is perfect. It's because the variance for adjusting R square is not far for the R square. Next, modal summary for internal variable show the three internal factors that are used to explain the ROE, which CG index, ROA, and the correct ratio. For the R square, we know that 99% for the variance in ROE can be produced from the internal factor. Moreover, the adjusting R square is 0.994, which means the produced variance is perfect. Next, for the modal summary for external variables, show that the three external factors are used to explain the ROE, which is the unemployment rate, industry production, and GDP growth. For the R square, we know that 37% for the variance in ROE can be produced. In addition, the adjusting R square is negative 1.522, which means the predicted variance is not perfect. This is because the adjusting R square is so far for the R square. This is the ANOVA. For the internal and external ANOVA, the F ratio is 33257.02, whereas the P value is 0.004. The improvement in various production is more than 1. Therefore, this model is inflation. However, it's not significant to ROE because the P value more than 1. Next, for the internal ANOVA, the F ratio is equal to the 215.77 and the P value is 0.05. This means the model is a good fit for the data because the P value is not greater than 0.1. It significantly predict the dependent variable. The big F ratio also show the model is higher inflation. Moreover, for the external ANOVA, the F ratio and P ratio, P variance for the external factor are 0.195 and 0.891 respectively. Therefore, the model is sufficiently efficient because the F ratio is more than 1. The output is also not significant to that to it. Is the coefficient table. According to the coefficient table of internal and external variable, the study show that it is not significant if external or external variable affect the ROE. The P value or ROA, GDP growth, and industry production rate are 0.002, 0.063, and 0.035 respectively. According to the coefficient table of internal variable, there are two variables significant to the dependent variable, which are CG index and current ratio, and the P value are 0.373 and 0.839. But in another way, there are two variables are not significant to Sanabi-Berhat probability because the P value for the two variables are more than 0.1. Next, according to the coefficient table of external variable, there are two variables not significant to the dependent variable. The T value is the negative, which negative 0.674 and negative 0.396, and the P value which is 0.622 and 0.760. Next. In the conclusion, it is highly probable that the bond internal and external variable have a greater impact on Sanabi-Berhat performance than do internal variable model 1 and external variable model 2. Additionally, since independent variable have a favorable impact on Sanabi-Berhat performance. By comparisons, the correction table only includes the operating margin and operation ratio that are essential to the ROE. On the other hand, the operational ratio, internal rates, and current ratio are the only combination of internal and external factors that have a significant impact on Sanabi-Berhat ROE, as indicated by the coefficient table. The result of close reference the correction and coefficient table show that the operation ratio have a greater impact on Sanabi-Berhat performance. I recommend Sanabi-Berhat a few suggestions. Being a manufacturer of automotive goods, Sanabi-Berhat is heavily dependent on its customer. As a result, the company must put employee well-being first in order to win over the society and create long-term success. A contact and involved staff is more increased to support the growth of the business, giving the firm pay, chance of professional growth, and a healthy work-life balance are a few examples. The reason of this is that the firm is highly responsible to society of its business practice and arch, and society has already created the enterprise complete lesson to manage and utilize the natural resources. Thank you for seeing, Doctor.